Are you moving to Houston? This is what you need to know about Texas property taxes. Two homes can be both priced at $600,000 in the Houston area and still have noticeably different monthly payments. One of the biggest reasons is property taxes. And if you're relocating to Houston from another state for a job transfer, this is something you really want to understand before you start narrowing down neighborhoods. Hi, I'm Sheila Ochsner, a realtor serving Katy in Greater Houston, and I work with people relocating here for careers in oil and gas, energy, healthcare, and other corporate positions. One of the biggest mistakes I see out-of-state buyers make is comparing homes based mainly on the purchase price. Because here in Texas, the price of the house is only part of the story. Texas does not have a personal state income tax, which is usually great news for someone moving here from a state that does. However, property taxes are a much bigger part of the conversation. And here's where it gets interesting. Property taxes in Texas are local, which means the amount you pay depends on where your home is located and which taxing entities apply to that specific property. So you could be looking at one home in Katy and another home just a few miles away, both around the same price, and their annual property taxes could be very different. That's why I tell my relocation clients not only to ask, how much does the house cost? A better question is, how much is this house actually going to cost me every month? Let's make this really simple. So imagine you're comparing two homes. House A is $575,000. House B is $600,000. At first glance, House A seems like the less expensive choice. But let's say House A has a higher property tax rate. Once you factor in those taxes into the monthly payment, it's entirely possible that House A could cost about the same as House B, or potentially even more. That's the part buyers don't always see when they're scrolling through homes online. The list price gets your attention. Of course it does. The monthly cost is what's affecting your life. And there's another really important thing I want you to know if you're relocating here. Do not assume that what the current homeowner pays in property taxes is what you're going to pay. This comes up all the time. You might look at the tax history and think, great, the current owner is only paying this amount, so that's probably about what I'm going to pay too. Maybe, maybe not. The current homeowner may have owned that property for years. They may have a homestead exemption. Their taxable value may have been affected by Texas appraisal caps. They may also qualify for exemptions that do not apply to you. So their tax bill is based on their situation. Yours will be based on your situation. That's why I don't want one of my buyers making a financial decision based only on the seller's current tax bill. We need to look deeper. If the home will be your primary residence, you'll most likely want to apply for a homestead exemption after you purchase and occupy it. That's an important benefit for Texas homeowners. But it's also another reason the previous owner's tax history doesn't necessarily tell us exactly what your future taxes will look like. This is especially important if you're moving to Houston from somewhere like California, New York, Illinois, or another state where the way property taxes work may be very different from what you're used to. If you don't have to become a Texas property tax expert before you move here. That's my job. I've lived here all my life. But you do need to know enough to ask the right questions. When I'm helping someone relocate, here's what I want us to compare. Not just the home price. I want you to look at the property taxes, the homeowner's insurance, HOA fees, commute, and total estimated monthly payment. because that's the real comparison. Maybe you are being transferred to an energy company near the energy corridor, and you're trying to decide between Katy, West Houston, or another nearby area. Or maybe you're moving here for a position in the Texas Medical Center and you're deciding whether you want to live closer to work or further out where you may get more house. Those decisions aren't just about square footage. They're about lifestyle and numbers. And sometimes the home with the lower price isn't actually the better financial fit. That's why I always encourage relocation buyers to slow down just a little before choosing an area based on what they see online. Houston is huge. You can change school districts, tax rates, commute times, and even the feel of the neighborhood within a relatively short drive, like 5 minutes. And if you're moving here while also starting a new job, packing a house, selling another house, and trying to figure out whether I-10 is actually moving or just pretending to move, you've already got enough going on. You don't need a property tax surprise 6 months after closing. So if you're relocating to Houston, remember this. Do not compare homes by price alone. Compare what they're actually going to cost you to own it. I'm Sheila Ochsner, a realtor serving Katy in Greater Houston, and I help people relocating here understand the details that can be hard to see when you're shopping from another state online. If you're being transferred to Houston for work and you're trying to figure out where to live, what you can comfortably afford, or which areas make sense for your commute and lifestyle, reach out to me. I'm happy to help sort through it all. And in the next video, we're going to talk about something else you may see when you're searching for homes around the Houston area. 3 little letters. M-U-D. If you have no idea what that means, you're exactly who that next video is for, and I will see you there next time. Bye.